From an empty folder 5 videos ago to a working app running on your computer. In this final step of building a real web app with AI, we deploy it to Vercel, a live URL that anyone in the world can visit. Push code, Vercel auto builds, app goes live. One small gotcha along the way, but I'll show you the fix. Same deployment workflow I use for SiteScan. Let's finish this. We built a working guestbook app in the last video. Look at this, it's really cool. Took us about 10 minutes. Go watch that video if you haven't watched it yet. Right now, it only runs on my Mac. In this video, we're gonna get it live on the internet, a real URL anyone in the world can visit. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna set up Vercel first. We're gonna connect it to our GitHub repo, even though there's nothing in it yet. Then push from VS Code, watch Vercel react in real time, pull the code from GitHub, automatically build and deploy. Once this is set up, every time you push code to GitHub, Vercel auto deploys. That's the workflow. Let's go. We're going to start by going to Vercel. So vercel.com, click Start Deploying. And because we already set up GitHub in our previous video, if you didn't know how to do that, find the link in the description. Click Continue with GitHub. We're going to sign in with our GitHub account. We're going to authorize. It's going to ask for verification. It created me an account. You can see I'm logged in here up at the top right. We're going to click Continue with GitHub. We're going to install. We're going to allow all repositories. Make sure we got the right account. Yes, we do. We're going to verify via email. Great. So I signed up for Vercel. I connected it to my GitHub and it imported it pulled in my first project, and I'm going to click import. If you look at the last video that we did, we actually built a guestbook app, but we did not deploy it to GitHub yet. So there is nothing to build here. So we're going to not deploy this at this point. At the end of this video, I'm going to show you how to go back into VS Code, push the code that we have on our local machine to GitHub, and then watch Vercel automatically deploy it. Okay, so that's going to be the next steps that we're going to do here. So just a brief mention on price. Vercel is a great product. It allows you to build systems at scale. It has a free tier, which I'm logged into now. There's plenty of room for personal projects, side hustles. We're going to start with the free tier here, but when you are starting to build something serious and you are beyond the free hobby tier, then you could easily upgrade and you could build enterprise scale applications if you wanted to. So let's move to the next step. I'm going to actually try and import the project even though it's empty and see what it does. There's no code there, and it's going to be missing a lot of the things that it needs to deploy a real application. So this may give us an error, which is fine. What I want to do here is just set it up. So perfect. Yeah, there's nothing there. We know. So I wanted to set it up so that when we are finished here and we go back into VS Code and we push, that it actually sees that and it launches the project from scratch. Okay, so we're in perfect shape. The next step before we go back to VS Code and push is we need to set up the environment variables. If you remember, if you go into our local environment here, we have a local environment file sitting on my machine, my local machine, with these two environment variables. This is what tells it where the Supabase database is so that it can talk with it. We need to set up something similar in the Vercel environment that sits on the internet, and there's something called environment variables there too. That's what we need to do next in the Vercel environment. We have our local environment variables here, and now let's go to Vercel and set them up there. Let's go pick our project, my first project. Okay, here's our project. And you can see that we created something 3 minutes ago. That project is empty and it's ready to go, but there's nothing there, so we're seeing a 404 not found message. We need to go to environment variables over to the left, and we need to create a couple environment variables. It's going to be the same variables that we had here, right? So we need one called next public Supabase URL. So we're going to copy that. And we're going to say add environment variable. The key is that. Let's go back over here and grab the URL. Copy that and add that as the value. Everything else here is defaults, so I can click save. Now I have one environment variable. I need to add one more. I need to add the next public Supabase anon key. Copy, paste. Let's go grab the value. Copy, paste, press save. Excellent. I'm not going to deploy this now, okay, because there's still nothing there to deploy. I'm going to click dismiss, and I have my keys. Again, same values from the .env.local file. These tell production Vercel how to talk to Supabase. Without these, the deploy succeeds, but the app has nothing to show. All right, now the magic moment. We're going to go back to VS Code, and I'm going to open my source control window again. I already committed, so all the changes do not show here anymore. I'm going to click the three-dot menu here, and I'm going to say push. Now, before I push this, I'm going to tell you what's happening so that you can see it as it happens. In fact, before I push this, let's go back to Vercel. I'm going to click on, I'm on my project. I'm going to click deployments, and I only have one deployment right here. Okay, this is the one that I imported and ran when we set up the connection with GitHub, and it's empty and there's nothing to see. Now, when I go to VS Code and I click push, you're going to see it automatically build because it's connected to GitHub. It'll see its new files, it'll pull it in, build it, and if there are no errors, hopefully there are no errors, we'll be able to see it live on the internet. Okay, so let's go over here. Let's click push. Done. So let's go see what happened. Okay. Oh boy, we see blocked. That's interesting. So what probably happened here is what I think. Okay, so I set up a brand new demo user to create the GitHub account, but when I pushed it from VS Code, I pushed it as my personal Edward Bordy account. And the GitHub is a private repo, so we're hitting an issue. I went over here and I made my repo public. That's better anyway because I want to share this with you guys. So if I go back here now and I click redeploy. Okay, so this is a great teaching moment. What I ended up doing. So when I built this video, I set up a test Gmail account to build everything brand new from scratch. But when I committed the files, I committed it under my normal Edward Bordy Gmail account. And that's what happens on my local machine when I used a git commit and push. It did it from Edward Bordy, who does not have permissions on my demo account. So this is probably something you'll never run into, but since I ran into it, I'm doing a little bit of the debugging here, figured out what the problem is, and I'm going to show you how I fixed it. So if you go back over to VS Code, I kept these on the screen. I configured the user email for Git to my demo email, and I gave it a username of this. Then I did a check to see what the email and the username is to make sure that that stuck, and it did. Here's the new Git email and username. And then what I did is I ran this command, git commit amend reset author no edits. So what it did is it recommitted all the 38 changes that we did earlier. So instead of being committed under my name, which has no permissions on this demo account, it recommitted it under the demo account email. What I want to do next is I want to force a repush. You don't have to worry about, well, I don't know how to write these commands. You can go into ChatGPT or Claude Code and you can show it the error and it will tell you how to run these commands. You don't need to be an expert in these commands. It's not that hard. You can ask it what commands to run for that error that you saw. It'll give you the commands. You can run them and diagnose these sort of things yourself. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to force a new push. And then we're going to go see if we have any more errors. So git push force. The force is needed because we're rewriting history that was already pushed. And I'm going to click, and it's working on that. 38. Let's go over to Vercel and see if that fixed our problem. Okay. Perfect. It did fix the problem. So now it was committed and pushed by Solar Builder Tutorials, not Edward Bordy. And you can see that it noticed it automatically and started building. This is a great sign. Done. So now we need to see what it looks like. Can we access this on the internet? And if so, how? So now when I click on the latest deployment, this is what it looks like. You get these deployment details. If there's errors, you'll get a build log that you can look at. This one was a success, so I can click any one of these domains that it created automatically for me. And when I do that, it opens up the app. So this is live on the internet now. So my application works. Look, and it connected to my database, everything. Later on, we can have another video how to create a custom domain, myfirstapp.com, whatever I want to create. I could get that on GoDaddy, attach it to this application. I can be live at whatever domain I want. But we've completed our entire process. And that's it. From an empty GitHub repo 5 videos ago to a working web app live on the internet with a real database, all built with AI. Same stack I use for SiteScan, same workflow. If you've watched all 5 videos, you have everything that you need to build something real this weekend. Pick a problem, build the smallest version, and ship it. The strategy video that started this series is linked below. That's where I show you how this scales to a real product with real paying customers. I'm Ed, the Solo Builder. See you next time.